Hi everyone. Sorry we're a little late, but we're here now, so all's good. So as you can see, my usual co-host Chris isn't around, so there was only one person I could ask to join, and that's the fabulous Miss Katie in Philly. How you doing, Miss Katie?
Well, I'm doing good, but I'm definitely a little down after that game. But we'll get into that. How about you, Tommy? How are you doing?
Very frustrated, to be honest. It's we really badly needed 3 points tonight, and we also really badly needed to beat Brighton because we hadn't done it since they got promoted from the Championship. And so all round a really frustrating game. It just feels like the season is kind of just petering out on us. We're in a position now where European football is actually out of our hands. If Everton and Tottenham win this weekend, they'll go level on points with us, but they both have a better goal difference, I believe. So we would drop down to eighth in that situation, which would mean no European football if we stay there. So very frustrating all round, and it would just be such a shame if we let European football completely slip out of our grasp now.
You know, I think that it's inevitable at this point. We had to win today. It's just frustrating to see how far we've come, how well we've learned to play together and move the ball down the field. We've done a lot better with that. The frustrating part, I think, is the fact that it shouldn't have come down to the end of the season, right? We had other opportunities in other games that we could have and should have won. And now it came down to this, and it's like, I don't know. It's obviously a much better situation that we were in versus last year, but to come this far and then let it just slowly slip away for us is defeating.
It is because it's not that long ago when we had really serious, genuine hopes that we could nick a Champions League spot, and that was exciting. Obviously, all of West Ham fandom was abuzz with that. It was a wonderful feeling, like you say, compared to what we were going through this time last season. So, to now be in a situation where we're kind of clinging on to any kind of European football by our fingertips, it is deflating. There's no question, because to have done so well for so long, to throw it all away in the last six games, would be heartbreaking. Even though if you'd offered us, say, eighth place at the start of the season, we'd have been very happy. Just the way we look like we might end up in eighth would really be just incredibly disappointing. So I'm just worried now. Like, we've got to find a way to win these last couple of games and make sure, if we can, that we're playing European football next season. If we're playing some form of European football next season, then I think we'll all be fine. We'll be very happy. But at the moment, it's really on a knife edge, and I'm worried now. I'm really worried now. So even eighth now would feel like almost like would be disappointing. Given the situation we were in, the position we were in, and what looked possible just a few games ago. So I really just hope the guys can rally and get a couple of wins in these last two games and secure European football. But if Everton and Tottenham win the remaining games, there's virtually nothing we can do about it now, and that's it's not a good position to be in, where it's out of your hands and you're relying on other results plus your own, to try and get some European football.
Luke, I don't know. Let's get into the game. I really don't think that we were super indecisive. I've seen us much more indecisive. I feel as though we did take opportunities. We just couldn't execute on those opportunities. And, Pablo Fornals, man, he had every opportunity this game. And the fact that he just couldn't get one in was just so frustrating. Even Antonio, I felt like he had opportunities. I don't know. It's hard. And, it was great to see Saeed finally step up and get his first goal. I'm excited for him. I think that now hopefully he'll get on a roll and not be as shy. But I don't understand the playing around with the ball in the box. Even Antonio was giving it up today. You're right there. Take a shot. Take the opportunity.
Yeah, it's see the worry I have is that we've maybe been sussed out a little bit by teams. Everton did the same thing to us, where they feel like if they play a wing back system with three centre backs, and when we have the ball, if they drop off and get plenty of men behind the ball and keep it nice and compact, we struggle. We really struggle to create kind of very good goal scoring chances. Now we were a little bit better able to create some opportunities tonight than we were against Everton, because Everton are just a better team than Brighton. We did still create some opportunities tonight, but you look at the amount of shots on target. I think we had well into the 20s. It was maybe 25 or so, something in that ballpark. Efforts on goal or something like that, 25, 26. But we actually had very few on target. And there were
I
two
think about 15 on target.
No, I think we had like 2 or 3 on
Three
target.
actual opportunities, yeah. Mm-hmm.
3 on target, yeah. We plenty of shots, up maybe 25 or 26 shots at goal. But like I say, only maybe 3 of them on target.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. I mean, there were 2 reasons for it. Some of it was because, defenders for Brighton were just throwing themselves in front of the shots and getting blocks in. So obviously they don't count as on target, obviously. There was a lot of that. There was very little room in that penalty area. They had so many men behind the ball in their own box when we were attacking. So they blocked a lot of shots, which is fair enough. But we also had some very poor finishing as well. I mean, that header from Dawson, he's got to be burying that. That's a free header from 7 yards, maybe 7 yards out, free header. He's got to do better than that. So the worry is now that everyone's going to do that against us. Everton did it.
Dawson. Dawson had that opportunity early on to take that header, and he hit it up instead of down. Go down into the corner. And I agree with Gatesy here. He says possession without penetration is pointless. Lingard was really doing well with bringing the ball and penetrating in and dropping it. I was surprised he didn't do that this game, because I thought we were doing well with our penetration. It's frustrating because we're right there and we just can't finish. It's frustrating. And so looking into next year, we need to work on our offense, obviously.
Yeah, see, this is the problem we have, and teams know it now. Everton did it to us, and obviously Graham Potter was watching that game and thinking, okay, that's how you play against West Ham, and you kind of get a result against them. Is you get your 3 centre backs and your wing backs, and when they have possession, you drop off and you get plenty of men behind the ball in and around the box and make it difficult for them. And we struggle with it, and we struggled again tonight. So we're going to have to figure this out, because I can assure you Sam Allardyce knows this too now. Sam Allardyce is going to look at it and say, yep, 3 centre backs, wing backs, defend deep, plenty behind the ball, frustrate them, and they'll struggle to get any shots on target. So we've got to figure this out if we're not going to miss out completely on European football. It's a problem. It's a problem. We're just not very good at breaking these teams down enough where we can stretch them and create gaps, which is what you have to do against teams who do that. Your movement has got to be really good.
Correct.
And you've got to move the ball very quickly
Well, it's not only that. Also what Gatesy says, we have the possession, right? But if you watch our offensive line, we're standing flat-footed. There's no movement. We're not making runs. people aren't crossing. And I was a little nervous in the beginning because Brighton was doing that. They were getting our defense a little mixed up. I don't know if you saw that in the beginning of the match. So I was getting a little nervous with that. But if that's what we can do and start to get the defenders tripped up, keep wide and spread exactly like you're saying, and get that one ball in, yeah, that's what we need to do. Because you're right, we're getting opportunities, but there's 5 or 6 Brighton players on top of us because we're not spreading the field. We're not making those moves. So I agree with you there, Tommy.
Yeah, it was just a little too comfortable for them. With that many players in and around the box, if you're not stretching the field, you have to have a lot of width, and you've got to move the ball very quickly. You've got to find a way to. Sometimes all it takes is for you to pull one of the centre backs out of position because of
Right.
really good movement and cause a little mix up or something, and then so you have someone running into that space that they've vacated, and that's when you can get in behind and create the openings. But we're just not able to do that, unfortunately. The better teams
And
can.
you're right.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
And
Man City, for example, look, teams are always trying to do that against City. They're always trying to get everyone behind the ball, make it difficult for them. But their movement is so good and their passing is so quick and so accurate that they still find ways to break through. And then once they score, it's easy from there on because they're in the box seat then, and that's what we had to do against this kind of system that we saw with Everton and Brighton. You've got to score first. If you score first, then they have to change. They've got no choice. They have to come out a bit more. Now we did see Brighton in the second half be a little bit more adventurous,
yeah,
and
they
it was
were
in
much more.
and it was in the second half where we started to see a little bit more of an opening for us, where we did stretch them a little bit because they committed some more numbers forward. They were a little more adventurous. I don't know why they set up the way they did from the first place. I mean, the relegation places are already settled. Brighton are safe. I don't understand why they still went out so negatively. If I was a Brighton fan, I'd be frustrated. What's the point of this? Why can't we? Let's just go out and match them and have a go and see if we can get 3 points. And so I'm not sure why the negativity from Brighton, given the circumstances that they're guaranteed to be a Premier League team. A defeat wasn't going to be damaging really in any way. So I'm a bit disappointed with Brighton's attitude to the game, particularly in the first half. But look, that's the way Potter decided to set up, and he could see from the Everton game that it's effective against us. So,
It is. Yeah. I
West
think
Brom will do the same. Allardyce will do it too, and we better figure this out.
Yeah, I think that we've gotten much better at the possession part of the game. So last year we really struggled with possession. This year we did a better job moving the ball, but we're just not getting that movement up top. And I think that you're exactly right that Potter saw how we played against Everton, and that's why he set up the way he did. I agree with you. They had nothing to lose. I don't know why they didn't go more offensive, other than the fact that they've never lost against us. They were holding that, I feel. It was like, they had that confidence. So I don't know. But yeah, it was just frustrating.
Yeah, and it's frustrating too that I don't know why. I mean, how can you have Brighton as a bogey team for Christ's sake? I mean, how many attempts have we had since they got promoted now to beat them? 6. And we haven't beaten
Yeah.
them once. It's like, come on, like what
No.
are we doing here? Like, especially in a game like it's so important. Absolutely vital. We could have gone back within 3 points of Chelsea and put a little heat on them again. And they play Leicester again. They were a lot beaten by Leicester today, and they play them again Tuesday. And we could have put a little heat on Chelsea. So it's really disappointing. Like how you can have Brighton as your bogey team, I'll never know. They're 17th. They're not very good. And
Yeah.
it's 2 points dropped tonight, no question. And we're very, very lucky it wasn't 3.
Yeah, we are.
Except for a really, really neat finish from Ben Rama, it would have looked even worse for us, because we would have been only 2 points ahead of Tottenham and Everton instead of 3. No, like I say, if they both win, I believe Tottenham definitely have a better goal difference, and I think Everton do as well now. So those two teams win this weekend. we're down to 8th, and it's not looking so good. And like I say, that's why it's just like.
I know. I didn't want to believe it, but I everyone knew Arsenal was crawling up. After Chelsea defeated us, I was just heartbroken. And I think since then, it's just kind of been we've been kind of spiraling down. Not for our lack of play in any means, but just it's just kind of started slipping out of our hands. And I think it wouldn't be had we won some of those other matches that were much closer in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and and tonight, like it's not like I didn't think we were terrible or anything. We had lots of the ball, and I think you could see the players were trying.
Yeah,
they were just struggling to break down, the Brighton kind of packed defense. We just lacked, like I say, that little sharpness and kind of fluidity of movement and sharpness of passing. There was a lot of really silly mislaid passes as well tonight. There was an opportunity, I remember, the second half for Antonio to play in Benrahma, and he made an absolute hames of it. A pass that a player at Premier League level should be able to make with their eyes closed, and just blast it straight to a Brighton centre back, and that was a real opportunity gone as well. And it was just there was a sloppiness, and it's I don't know, I just feel like we look like a team that's just kind of running out of steam to me.
Well, I think that I think that was more so towards the end of the game. I think our accuracy definitely had improved in comparison to some other games. If you look at like turnovers, I think we were pretty close to where Brighton was. It was a pretty evenly matched game, other than the fact that we had so many opportunities that we just didn't get the finish on it. So to me, it kind of comes down to the coaching, right? So I think that Moyes should have told them, spread out up top, get those runs and sneak someone in the back. Yeah, I don't know. I'm putting this one on David.
Yeah, look, there was kind of a lot of things that didn't go right tonight. You could probably point to a few things. The finishing was sloppy, some of the passing was sloppy, some of the crossing was awful. I have to say the corners were really poor mostly. I don't know how many times Jared Bowen hit the first man.
Yeah.
From his corners, and it just weren't sharp enough. And that's just the way we've been these last few games. Since the Newcastle game, really, which is where this decline kind of started.
Yeah.
That was a horrible performance. And okay, you can forgive the defeat to Chelsea because they've been much better since Thomas Tuchel took over. You can forgive that. They are one of the best teams in Europe on form right now. But the other games, the Newcastle game, the Everton game, the game tonight, we're just not quite at it. And my fear of it, like I said now, is that we'll disastrously miss out on European football completely. We have to try and prevent that from happening. I know the guys are saying in the chat there we do have a better goal difference by Tottenham.
Yeah.
Than Everton.
Yeah, we do.
But still, if Everton win this weekend, they're level in points with us, and Tottenham, if they win, will go above us on goal difference. So, we'll possibly sift to 7th and be really looking over our shoulder at Everton now as well. And like people are saying, if you think about Everton's season, people are saying that Everton are having a kind of a patchy kind of a season, which they are. They've been a bit up and down. They've been horrible at home, but they've done really well away. And despite all that, and the feeling is that we've had this great season, and we could still end up behind them, in 8th place, just because of the final kind of 6 games, and that would be unbelievably disappointing.
I hope that Moyes pulls everyone back together and gets their head on straight for the next couple matches, because you're absolutely correct. We're if we don't, we're going to see ourselves in that 8th position. Not bad to be at the top of the top 10, but it's a big heartache from 4. It's a big heartache from being even at 3 at a certain point. It's quite a slip. So, who would you say is your man of the match?
From a West Ham perspective, yeah, there was no one that kind of stood out terribly where I would say, oh, this player was brilliant or anything. But I think Sofal was really good again.
Yeah,
He's such a class player, Sofal,
I
at
love
right
him.
back. Yeah, he's brilliant. I thought he had a really great game again. Defensively, we were really solid, although nobody could have stood out massively because we weren't pressed that much really by Brighton. Brighton, do you understand? I don't know if you saw the stat, Katie, but their chance conversion rate is 8%.
Wow.
It's easily the worst in the league. I mean, they're terrible at converting their goal scoring opportunities.
Yeah.
And we saw that against United. They didn't trouble us really, but that one time when Welbeck got in behind and scored.
He did
So
well. I mean, there was 3 players right there, and then he beat Fabi. So you could really say 4. He did.
Yeah, it was man of the match. I don't know. I thought Rice was excellent again. He moved the
Yep.
ball around really
That's who
well.
I would have
Did a
said.
lot of tackles, so it was great to have him back. And he's a
Just
class act.
phenomenal.
He's just a class act. I mean,
I mean,
he didn't look like a player who'd been out for a few weeks. He just came right back in,
that's
slotted
what
in.
I mean. Yeah, like
he
you would
was
have never thought.
yeah, he was brilliant. I thought so. I'd probably give it to Rice.
Yeah, Rice is my pick for sure. Even though Sufal is definitely a close second for me. I definitely love me some Sufal.
Sofal doesn't really have a bad game, does he? He's just
he's always quite
unbelievably,
strong.
unbelievably consistent. Unbelievably consistent. We've got an absolute gem there. Unfortunately, I think there might be, if there are some big teams that really need a right back, it's potentially someone they'd start, eyeing up. But
I hope not.
hopefully not. Yeah. But yeah, just so frustrating, Katie, really. And Allardyce is going to be desperate to put one over us, despite
sure
the fact
are.
they're already relegated. So this is what we call on this side of the pond squeaky bum time, Katie.
Oh man. Oh, I don't like squeaky bum time. We had plenty of that last season.
Yeah, for different reasons, but yeah, I just really hope it's not all just petering out. We've had some injuries and a kind of drop in form just at the worst possible time. Just when it looked like we might do the unthinkable, it all just started going completely wrong. Even though we've got some players back, obviously Cresswell is there now, Bonna's there now, Rice is back in there, Antonio's back in there. It's just not clicking for us right now. It's not clicking right now. And look, I said after the Everton game, fair play to Ancelotti. He got his tactics spot on, and Potter just aped those tactics tonight because he saw how effective it was for Everton. And we're going to have to figure this out in these next 2 games.
I think that we can pull through. I do think that, again, it wasn't a terrible game. It was, just small things that need to be changed. And if we can do those things, we can be in a much better place. Kieran says this is more stress than relegation. It's just a different kind of stress,
Yeah. See, I'm not that bothered about the whole Champions League thing, right? That was just kind of the dream, right?
Yeah, right. It would be nice.
It would be amazing if we could do it, but we all knew it might not happen. It's hard to finish in the top 4, but I think we all felt really positive and confident that we'd still get a Europa League spot or something.
Yeah.
And so that was fine. I'd be absolutely delighted with Europa League. So I would have been very happy with that, and so the Champions League thing doesn't bother me that much. But I'll tell you what, if we miss out on Europe altogether, that would be almost unforgivable given the position we were in. With 6
One
games
swallow
to
doesn't
go.
make a summer. Yeah.
In what sense? I'm not sure. Kieran, just explain exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah, I think that he means this loss, doesn't.
It's not this loss.
Yeah, it's just
it's the
several.
It's yeah. We haven't been winning games. We beat Burnley. That's it. We're horrible against Newcastle. Lost to
Yeah.
Chelsea. Horrible against Everton. Pulled a point out of the bag late on against a 17th place Brighton. This isn't one swallow. This is a trend now. We're in a slump. So the whole. I wish it was. Look, if we'd been playing great and this was just 2 points dropped in an otherwise great run of form, I'd say yes, fine, yeah, no problem, Kieran, one swallow and all that. But it's is it 8 games? I thought it was like 6 or something.
Yeah, no,
8 games.
it's 8, which
That's
sucks.
shocking.
That's
shocking. No, I don't buy that, Novelist. I'm sorry. I don't think the players are down tools and they're just not trying to not get injured. I think I did see a group of players tonight that were trying.
Yeah,
I did. I think they were trying to win the game. They wanted to win it, and I didn't see anyone shirking tackles or anything like that. But I think they did try to win it. It's just we struggle against those tactics. It's as simple as that. We struggle to kind of break teams down, and the goals have dried up.
Coaching. And as great as Moyes has done to refine the way we play, the way we work together, we're getting beat on some of the tactical sides of things.
Yeah. Look, it worked a treat for Everton, and so naturally Graham Potter said, okay, we'll have some of that. Problem for us is that it worked again against a team that are not as good as Everton. Albeit I have to say that Brighton's defensive record is good. They are solid defensively, but we never really tested them. It'll be one of the probably easier games their keepers had this season. He didn't have a whole lot to deal with really, shot wise. I think there was a kind of a stinging shot in the first half from Souček late in the first half. That was straight at him. It was straight at him, but I think it was moving in the air a little bit, and he just kind of had to bat it down with both hands, and that maybe troubled him a little bit because it was moving in the air a bit. But
it was a nice strike. It was a nice strike.
Other than that, I don't remember the Brighton keeper having to make a diving save or any kind of. He wasn't really pushed at all. So, like I say, we have to figure that out. Like sometimes you just have to get a little bit more brutal. Something, it's all right. It's all right trying to play the nice little 1-2s and stuff in and around the box, but it's difficult when there's 10 players in there. So sometimes you just got to get the ball out wide and just dump a lot of fucking crosses in there and use our kind of height and physicality in there to try and trouble them. So it's Moyes is going to have to figure it out, because I guarantee you West Brom, Southampton maybe I think will be a little more positive. I think Southampton will come out a bit more positive and play a more open game with us. But West Brom next week, I think Allardyce will do the same thing. He'll play the wing-back system, 3 centre-backs, get loads of them behind the ball and try and frustrate us. He'll feel that they can probably stop us from scoring because, he's seen how well it's worked for Brighton and Everton. So, and as Luke is saying there, we need a number 9. We need a proper striker in there, a number 9. We need a finisher. And see, the disappointing thing for me against Everton was, Moyes is bringing on the likes of Yarmolenko. It's bringing Yarmolenko on in these games. He didn't tonight, but in the Everton game he did. And, I'm thinking tonight, why not put 2 up top at that point when you need the goals? So, I don't see the point of bringing players on like that. Like, I would have loved tonight, for example, last 15 minutes at least, for Moyes to say, okay, we're going to really go for it now because we really need these 3 points, and sacrifice Souček and bring on Odebeko.
Right.
Bring on Odebeko. He's a striker. Put him up top with Antonio. extra body in the box. Odebeko is a proper number 9, really great finisher. And he would stay in and around the edge of the box. He's a poacher. And I would have said to Declan, right, you're the holding midfielder now. We're hooking Socek. And put Odebeko up alongside Antonio and just go for it. There's no point being coy now. We've got to start winning games. We've got to arrest this slide down the table that we're on.
Agreed. And it's funny. I was shocked we substituted prior to Brighton, but Moyes, he doesn't put in his newbies. And I agree. I think getting Odebeko up top, even though he's new, why not? Let's give it a chance. Give him some time. Let's go.
Yeah, because this was a kind of game, like in the second half, when we're kind of pushing to try and get the 3 points, that you don't necessarily need 2 holding midfielders. We've got the 4 defenders, and if Rice is in front,
and Antonio gets gassed.
Holding. Yeah, Rice is there to hold. We've got enough players that work hard. Fornells always tracks back a lot, works very hard, getting back, helping out the defense. So. We don't need to be afraid of Brighton where you think you have to have 2 holding mids. We should have gone for it, I think. It should have been a bit more positive. He brought Benrahma on, but he hooked Bowen. So it's kind of like for like, okay, granted, I've no problem with Benrahma coming on, obviously, because we want to get more attacking players on the pitch. But, he could have done both. He could have brought...
He needs to pull Antonio. Antonio, once we get to a certain point where we're down, he just gets upset and sort of stops trying, and he gets tired, and that's when his pass accuracy goes way down.
Yeah, he could have hooked Antonio, but I mean, I guess if we're really chasing the 3 points and we desperately need them, I don't mind him staying on, but I certainly would want to get someone up alongside him. So if you'd brought on Benrahma for Bowen, fine, you can do that. Bowen wasn't particularly effective. I thought he was really poor.
Bowen didn't do much.
So fine, bring Benrahma on for Bowen, no problem. But take Socek out and put Odebeko up top alongside Antonio. So at least if Antonio is going out to the wings to try and get in possession and get involved, at least then you still have Odebeko who's going to stay in and around the box. You've got someone that you can pass to inside. So I thought that was a mistake from Moyes.
Novelist said somebody needs to tell Antonio to stop shooting from distance. I slightly disagree on this. He just needs to keep his head down because the ball always goes up and over the goal. If he kept his head down on it and drove it towards the goal, I think he could get one from the outside. I mean, look
sure. Sure.
Getting it from the outside the box. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah, but the problem is he can't shoot, Katie. He just can't shoot. It's all right saying, well, if only Antonio could hit a ball like Harry Kane. He just can't. He's not a natural striker. He's not a number 9. All of his goals come inside the box from close range. So, yeah, I'd rather never see Antonio shoot from around outside the box, to be completely honest. It seems a waste of time. I don't know. You tell me, when was the last time he scored from outside the box? I can't remember. We're going back
Antonio?
a long way. Yeah, we're going back a long way.
Yeah, it has been. But he, it's always up and over the goal. It's not even close.
Because his technique is horrible.
Yeah. It's got to keep his
horrible.
So what do you think this means for Benrahma here on out?
Benrahma?
Yeah.
No, I think he'd be fine. He's a really good player.
You think that this is going to, you think Moyes will continue to drive him as a starting role, or?
It's hard to say how many starts he'll get. Certainly on tonight's show, he scored a really good goal, and he earned us a point.
That was great.
With that strike. It was an excellent finish.
Great.
And certainly you have to say, Bowen has been disappointing. I just don't like Bowen's form at all. And I know Moyes likes Bowen a lot, and I know he works very hard, but his form is really poor. So at the moment, I would rather see Benrahma play than Bowen, to be honest. Bowen just isn't cutting it right now, and he was poor again tonight. So certainly away at West Brom, I'd much rather see Benrahma than Bowen starting that game.
Yeah.
I have to say. But what Moyes will do is another question. Now Moyes did bench him, previously. So
Right.
Moyes is capable of benching Bowen, and I'm sure it won't be lost on Moyes tonight that Bowen really just didn't contribute much of anything. Um, I thought maybe because Bowen was going so badly, it might have been a better idea to get Benrahma on at half time, actually, give him more opportunity to affect the game in the right way. So yeah, and again, Lingard, he's kind of huffing and puffing a little bit now. I think see when Bowen first came into the team, I think teams weren't fearful of us really. They were still attacking us. They were trying, coming out, trying to get the win against us, getting forward, and it was leaving space
Mm-hmm.
so that when we won the ball back, we could counterattack really effectively. But unfortunately, teams have just stopped doing it now. The position that we were in, and we're having such a good season. I think we've actually earned a lot of respect from teams, and they fear us a little bit now.
Oh yeah.
And so they're saying, okay, we do not want to attack too much against West Ham because if they win the ball back in their own half and you're committing numbers forward in attack, we are lethal in that situation. In seconds from winning the ball back deep in our own half, we're up on the edge of your box getting a shot off. Because of the skill and pace that we've got there with the likes of Antonio and Benrahma and Lingard. Even Bowen in those circumstances does well, gets chances and can score goals. So I think it's kind of a mark of respect in a way that teams have started doing this against us now and, playing wing-back system with three centre-backs and sitting deep and getting numbers behind the ball. So we're going to have to figure this out. Otherwise, our season will end up, I hate to say disappointingly, but I know eighth would still be a really good season.
No, it would.
But it would just feel like a huge lost opportunity.
Well, we were on such a high, and yeah, it would just feel a little disheartening. I understand where Gary's coming from. I think, Fornals struggled a bit today. He had a lot of missed opportunities. So I don't know.
Yeah, whatever the reason, Gary, he was shit. If someone's playing shit, you take them off. I don't care what the reason is. You can say, "Oh, well, he's been out for a while." Okay, so what? If this is what you're seeing on the pitch at the time, if a player now Bowen was shit tonight, I'm sorry, it just was. And if you see someone who's playing shit, you have to take him off. There's all right making an excuse, and it might be a legitimate excuse to say, well, he hasn't played much. Fine, that may be the reason he played shit, but it still doesn't change the fact he's playing shit, and you need to get him out of there.
Luke, they were marking Lingard hardcore, and he was getting quite roughed up. And that's why we need another striker up there to support him. So he has someone else to give the ball to when he's, driving up at the top. So, he just they weren't giving him a chance to make opportunities. They knew that they had to shut him down, and they did. So it worked.
Like I say, look, they just worked very hard to close down all the spaces, particularly through the
middle.
But yeah, the point is well made though by Luke. I mean, Lingard, like I said it earlier that some of the passing was incredibly sloppy from a number of players, and that includes Lingard. I have to say, some of his passing was poor.
Peach says he loves your real talk. That's awesome. I'm going to disagree with the novelist here. I don't think Benrahma's goal was the only positive tonight. I think that there were other positives. It just feels a little more negative. The opportunities we had.
Well, Well, I suppose look, Royce came back, so obviously that. But I think to
Augie, having Augie back was great. Yeah. I mean, he's always done well. Like you said, Sufal playing well. I still think Souček did a great job. It's just we just couldn't finish.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And that's just the disappointing fact of it.
Yeah, but I take Novelist's point. I think he means basically on the pitch as regards to the game itself. The positives, there aren't too many on the field positives as regards our play. Look, the players tried. I don't doubt that. I just think they struggle against that kind of system and those tactics. So figure it out, because I think this is what we're going to see now. This is another game where that tactic has worked against us. So it's a worry. West Brom will do it next week. You watch. West Brom will do it.
Don't say that, Tommy. It's going to break my heart.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to find a way. Antonio's just going to have to stay in the box. As simple as that. Antonio just has to stay in there.
Earlier too, he can't just sit out on the wing. He's got to get up top.
Yeah, and listen, Rice is going to have to do the defensive stuff. He's going to have to, and Souček is going to have to be given that license to just attack the middle of the box again. Because we're going to have to get if West Brom do this to us, and I think they will, we've got to get the ball out wide because they'll give us that, and we've got to get cross after cross after cross after cross into the box. Antonio has to be in there. He can't be the one crossing dovetailing with Cresswell, so Cresswell can cross, and then because he's not in the box then. So Antonio's got to stay central in the box, and we've got to give Souček the freedom to go and attack the box, to get forward, so that when those crosses come in, he's attacking them as well. We've got to put pressure on them like that. And then you can have the likes of Lingard and Benrahma, Fornals hovering around outside the box for any headed clearances that fall their way, recycle the ball. We're going to have to do something because at the moment, we're on a precipice.
And we got to do this in 4 days.
Yeah.
It's a quick turnaround.
It's a quick turnaround, and we're away again.
Yep.
So... pressure's on. It's as simple as that. Listen, the pressure's on. The players know that they have got to go to the Hawthorns and get the 3 points. End of story. Nothing less will do. Nothing less. This has got to be 3 points now. Has to be. So, fingers crossed. Look, if we go to the Hawthorns and get the 3 points, then okay, we're kind of back on track a little bit. We'll wait and see what happens with Everton and Tottenham.
Right.
Hope maybe we'll get some help there. That would be nice. And then a win. Nice. Yeah, and then a win at the Hawthorns maybe will put us back in the box seat for Europa League, and then we can all breathe a sigh of relief a bit and say, okay, we're kind of back on track here. Just have to beat Southampton now.
Well, Everton,
but results have been kind of going against us now a little bit. For a lot of the season, other results went for us a lot. Teams around us or just below us were dropping points when we really needed them to. But it's kind of flipped on its head now, where the teams that have been just below us now are starting to win games and pick up 3 points, and now we're under pressure, and it's really tightened up. Those positions kind of from 5th to 9th now are, it's really tightened up, and we have to win this game.
Yeah, Everton has Sheffield United, which that's a win for them.
Sorry?
Excuse me. Everton is playing Sheffield United tomorrow.
Yeah, you'd have to expect them to win it. Let's hope they don't. But Sheffield United are shocking. But no, I don't think. I think Everton are going to beat them. I'd like Sheffield United to give Everton a dose of their own medicine.
Would be nice, but they're done.
Play with wing backs, get the 3 centre backs, get everyone behind the ball, frustrate them.
That would be nice.
See how they like it. But
look, what do they have to lose?
All we can do is cross our fingers.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know. I mean, I would like to think we have West Brom in the bag. But I really thought today we would be able to pull through a little bit better than what we did. So, it could just be a dose of unlucky. But I also think it was our strategy.
Yeah, well, look, it's crunch time now. We'll see how the players respond, because they're going to have to. They're in they know the situation as well as anyone. They understand. That they have got to win these 2 final games now. They've got to, and so let's see how they respond. I thought the attitude first half was very good. We came out very lively.
Yeah.
in that first half, I thought, and we were trying. So it's just we struggle against those tactics. Gary,
Oh.
and then your mum wakes you up with a cup of tea.
And Southampton.
What's the reference, Gary?
And then I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reference is, Gary. Sorry.
So yeah. So what do you predict against West Brom? What do you think the score will be?
Oh Christ.
I know.
We're
It's
in a funk. Yeah, I think we're in a funk. We're in a funk. It's as simple as that. And I think we're going to blow it. I think we're going to blow it, and I think we're going to.
really.
I think we'll be held by West Brom as well.
Oh, he said West Brom beating Liverpool.
For real?
Yeah.
Let me check that. It's not a wind. How long's gone in that? 1 second, Katie. Let me just.
That's
confirm.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's not tonight. What's he on about?
It's tomorrow. Which
Yes.
happen?
Oh, he thinks West Brom will beat Liverpool.
No.
Not happening. I'll tell you what I think. I think Everton, Tottenham, and Liverpool will all win tomorrow. That's what I think.
Right, which is I think why we had to win today.
Yeah. I think by this time tomorrow night we'll all be looking at the table, going, "Okay, we're in trouble here. We might not qualify for Europe at all." And I'll be honest with you. I think West Brom will hold us to a point. I really do. I just it's hard to be, it's hard to be positive at the moment because our form is just not great. So
yeah, Danny on Southampton. Yeah, we definitely do have to worry about him.
Oh, Stuart Langan, thank you so much, Stuart. I really appreciate that. That's really nice of you to say. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Everton are so poor at home. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop points versus Sheffield United.
Yeah, they have been poor at home.
I disagree.
Yeah, I think Sheffield United are shocking. They're so bad. Like, listen, Everton know they've got a golden opportunity now.
They had, Sheffield had a good run. Good for them.
Yeah, Everton are in a position now where they can go level on points with us with 2 games to go. So, yeah, and I think they will. I mean, I wouldn't back Sheffield United to beat anyone right now. I just
no. But like you said, they have nothing to lose, so hopefully they'll.
Yeah. Well, neither did Brighton tonight, but they were still quite negative in their tactics. So
they absolutely were. Nipun to Leicester. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, massive for Leicester, FA Cup winners. I mean, you want to talk about a club that's properly run. Listen, Leicester are not a bigger club than West Ham. They're not.
No, they're not.
And they never have been. They're just incredibly well run. Incredibly. Listen, Leicester are going to finish in the top 4. Very possibly 3rd, and have won the FA Cup. You want to talk about running a club well. I mean, if they can do that, Leicester and West Ham can't, unless West Ham can't, then it just shows.
Which is why this makes this so disappointing, because we can.
Yeah, if we had competent owners. That's it. Competent owners. That's what Leicester have on us. Competent owners who know what they're doing and run that club extremely well. And we have, Dildo Baggins and fucking, David Gold, who's well into his 80s and is basically just kind of hanging around, doesn't really do anything. And Karen Brady, who's just busy writing her Sun column and pissing people off. So, it's just bloody circus.
It is a circus. It really is. Oh.
Yeah. So fair play to Leicester. You have to hand it to them. They're doing exceptionally well for a club their size, exceptionally well.
Which is why I don't like it, because I know that we could be there.
Yeah, because if Leicester are kind of what would I say? They're the example, for other
Yeah,
clubs to
they
follow.
are.
To say
They
like
are.
this, if you're a kind of a medium-sized club, like this is how you run it. This is how you do it. If for talk about punching above your weight, for Leicester to be a Champions League team and FA Cup winners in in the same season,
Yep.
it's tremendous stuff. And
I love it how.
you see their training facilities are absolutely top class.
Oh yeah, I
They
love it. How,
sell and they buy players cheap and sell them high
right.
regularly.
Yeah.
Regularly buy players in for a few million quid and sell them for between 50 and 80 million, and then they go and replace them like they never left. They sold Harry Maguire 80 million. Soyuncu comes in. Never heard of him before. He's been sensational for them. This summer to bring in Fofana. Watch how much they sell Fofana for.
Oh, I don't know how much.
It's going to be, they'll sell Fofana for another 60, 70 million.
Mm.
And then they'll replace him with someone we've never heard of, or who's young, and they'll strike and just go get him, and he'll prove to be an excellent centre back as well. And their recruitment is just superb.
Well, exactly what you said. We have no recruitment, and we're continuously bringing in players and just letting them go for less. Yeah, I mean, and the players that we have developed and done well with, right? We can't give up. We can't afford to give them up.
Yeah.
If we are going to give them up, we need a good replacement, and it's like we can't afford the replacements. So yeah, put us in a tough spot. Our owners, are definitely making us suffer in that regard. But owners can't put goals in the back of the net either, and we needed goals this evening.
Yeah, well, look, obviously there's more than one issue with the club, obviously.
Right.
But look, it ain't over till it's over, and if we can get the 3 points in 4 days' time, as you said, Katie, at West Brom, then
Yeah.
at least then okay, we're back on track a little bit, and we just have to beat Southampton at home. So let's see what happens. I'm not overly confident, I have to be honest.
I'm saying a 2-1.
2-1 win.
Yep.
Well, I pray you're right. I'll take any kind of win in any fashion.
Tommy, I'd say I'm right too.
Yeah. So, fingers crossed. Look, that's all we can do right now. The players have just got to pull it out of the bag in these last 2 games. If they can do that, we'll be playing in Europe next season, and I think we'll all be absolutely delighted with that. We really will.
Yeah.
But like I say, I think once these games have been played tomorrow, we're going to be under pressure, and it's shit that we're in this situation.
It is. It is.
Just to answer Nippon, we're away to West Brom, Nippon, and then on the final day we're at home to Southampton.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm just hoping we take the scenarios we were in this year and learn from them and become better because of it. And from what I've seen over the past season and the games that we've had, there hasn't been changes from the losses. So I'm hoping Moyes can take that step back in the offseason and really start to fix these small errors that have occurred in some of these games that we could have won. And I think that's going to make the difference.
Yeah, and obviously one of the big questions would be, is he going to be backed? It's not looking promising right now that his transfer budget in the summer. I mean, he's gonna have to find some gems.
Yeah.
I think he will spend big money on a striker, relatively big money on a striker, 20-something million. But after that, I just don't know what's going to be in the kitty. And like I say, if we're going to be playing European football, we're going to need a squad for that. And the problem we have there is if he wants to build a bigger squad and he doesn't have much money, we're going to end up right back where we were. If you remember, we did that, when after the 15-16 season, Payet season, shall we say, last season at the Bowling, we qualified for Europa League that season. We brought in a bunch of kind of cheap players just to pad the squad, and very few of them were worth a damn. We ended up with a lot of dead weights in the team that we just had to ship out after, and I just hope we're not put in a position where we have to do that again because there's not enough money to buy quality players.
Absolutely. Vern says, can we have the 3-2 West Ham back? Kieran says that was stressful. I agree with Kieran there. Even
the problem,
2 days we were bum squeezing time, right, Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, look, the problem, Vernon, is that we'd all maybe like that 3-2 West Ham back. It was exhilarating stuff. It was good, great to watch at least, even if it was nail biting. But the problem is that the teams we're playing now just aren't going to play that way against Southampton. I think Southampton will come and try and beat us. They'll be positive. They'll come at us, which will be a more open game, which might be a West Ham 3-2. But a lot of teams now, I think, are setting up much more defensively against us because they're seeing we can be frustrated that way. So I don't think we'll see too many more of those 3-2s, and unless we figure it out how to break these teams down better.
Well, Vernon, for your sake, I hope that in the next 4 days we pull a 3-1, up my 2-1 to a 3-1. That way we don't have squeaky bums.
Exactly. Look, we just have to wait and see, and just cross the fingers. We'll be back here in the post-match show. After the West Brom game. Let's hope things are looking more positive there.
Yeah, well, thank you for letting me play Miss Chris today. Chris was missed. I had some big shoes to fill, of course. So thank you, Tommy, and to Chris for letting me join you. And I'll be on this Thursday for Hometown Hammer, 8 p.m. on American Hammers TV. So, Tommy, I'll be looking forward to hearing what you and Chris have to say after we beat West Brom.
Yeah, and listen, Katie, there's a reason if me or Chris can't make it where you're our go-to gal. All right, you know your stuff. You know your West Ham. You're passionate about it, and you're a great we always appreciate you standing in. You're always, in fairness, you're always willing to step in. Sometimes at not much notice, it has to be said, if something comes up late for me or Chris. But we really appreciate you, and we know you've got our backs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys were lucky I wasn't at Stowe's hitting it today.
Stop. I really, really want to do one of these with drunk Katie.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Peach, I would love to be president, but that is a massive job, and I don't need any more gray hair because West Ham gives me enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, as we've said, wasn't horrible, but it still wasn't our best. We were expecting more for the last 2 games. So great having you all on the chat, and we hope to see you later again this week. All right, we're going to leave you with a come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Let's do it.